ろいよよいのよいで食ってそろ煮えてなんぼの
What's up, everybody? We're rocking some red green Oden with some EB02 additions. We're going to be playing against Arlong today, and we did end up taking the play. I don't honestly, this deck is something I've been kind of culturing for a little while now. I've been playing a lot online, a lot ranked in it as well. And honestly, I don't think this deck really hurts to go first or second. Most often than not, people like to go first with it just because you can find the 5-drop Wano character kind of on curve, but with the addition of this Searcher event as well as Momos, you can often find Hiyori to allow yourself to see that 5-drop going second as well. And then curving out into the 6-drop Yamato is incredibly strong. But we're going to see here, we're going to look at the top 4 of the deck and look for something fun here off of this new song event. All 4 of these targets are completely searchable off the song. And it is the Land of Wano theme song as well. You can grab a card of any color with these songs, but they are specific colors themselves. But yeah, we pick up the Gum Gum Mulgun. Honestly, Mulgun, fantastic. Chef's kiss of a card, especially in this deck. I'm actually up to 4 copies right now. Just the ability to have us, interact with weird board states, kill very important threats like Sanji Pudding, any like mid-range threats, being able to like shut down a kid, right? If somebody plays out a kid, 8-cost kid, being able to just knock it down to a 3k for the turn. Makes it really advantageous for us. Also, hitting it out of life is a lot easier for us to do in this deck because more often than not, we're going to have 6k, 7k bodies on field already. Right? It's a little awkward when you're playing things like Zoro and you hit the Gum Gum Mulgun trigger out of life and you don't have a 6k power on board because you got a bunch of little bodies. It does make it a little bit awkward here. But we're playing against Arlong. Arlong also got a few upgrades from this set. They got a 3-cost Arlong as well as a 4-cost Buggy. Specifically, that Buggy gives double attack and is something they can put into play off of leader effects. We're going to see here what they decide to do. They're going to go 8k lead, going to tap for a leader effect, and put a nasty trigger body into play. Notably, these bodies do not come into play tapped. I wholly expected them to come into play tapped, and then I think I even ask here, and then we like do a little read of the leader, maybe at some point. But we're going to end up taking that 8k. Don't feel like chalking up 2Ks. This deck is very, very liberal at taking life, especially once I jump up to a 6k leader, which we're going to start doing on this turn. I got to slam down a 5-drop here. Do we have the best 5-drop we can play? Yes, we do. We've got the Ezo. There are 3 5-drops in this deck. Some versions run 4, but I run Ezo, Dinjiro, and the 2k Yamato, and my order of operations is Ezo at the top because Ezo attaches a Dawn. Also has that nice ability to allow you to turn any card in your hand into a negative 2000 power on your opponent's attack. And then you've got the 2k Yamato because it can attach Dawn. I'm just focused on trying to be a 6k leader as fast as possible. We all know how good 6k leaders are. Green purple Luffy. 6k leader basically every turn. Incredibly strong deck. Also has just a lot of great synergies and cards, but just being a 6k leader is pretty great, and these Land of Wano characters do allow me to do that. We are a little afraid right now of a potential removal spell coming out of my opponent. They are a trigger deck, so they could be running 5-cost Nami as well as what the damn punk. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to expect playing against Arlong. They literally could be running anything. I have no idea. We see a Hawkins on board. We saw an Edison 2k in life, 2k out of hand, as well as a 1k Sanji blocker. So definitely some choice trigger cards because again, this deck really relies on 4-drop triggers to put into play. I do have a Ryuma, but I'm probably going to end up cashing that in as a 1k at some point, just because of Oden's ability allows you to turn any Land of Wano card into a 1k counter if it doesn't have counter. And I wholly expected these cards to come into play tapped, so I was just like, oh, okay, I'll just play a Ryuma, we'll just kill it, whatever. But no, that's not the fact. And the other side of it is they've got a Basil Hawkins on field. If I KO that, I'm trashing a life. That sucks. If they play any other like bad on KO triggers for me, I'm probably not going to be KOing those cards. I'm probably going to look right past them and just be a straight up aggro deck, which is honestly how I play this deck, right? There's a few different variations of red-green Oden that you can take. You can go for a aggro approach as well as a more control mid-rangey approach, right? And then you slot in things like 9-cost Whitebeard, things like that. But I'm not running that. I'm running a more aggro build, aggro and removal-ish build. And we're just going to be turning all my 7k bodies sideways at my opponent's leader to basically ensure that I get at least 2 cards out of hand or a life. So we're going to see a 7k coming at me here. Activation of leader ability. Gonna put something into play. Hopefully not something gross. The Kikunojo, that is a little gross for me. If I do KO that, I will be gaining my opponent a life just because I already am at the 3 or less life threshold. But I think I'm just going to ignore them. We're going to use a 2k here to protect ourselves. Trying not to take too much chump damage here. And because I'm a 6k leader, that 5k Hawkins can't swing in, and my opponent instead decides to develop a blocker because I'm just going face. We have a Rush Luffy in hand. We could see a 6-drop Yamato here. I am potentially, like, I could Gum Gum Mogun to, like, clean up the Brulee, but really not that efficient of a play. I also have, like, an Izo in hand. We're pulling the Rosinante to the front of the hand. Rosinante, fantastic card in this deck as well. Just that ability to unconditionally protect your rested characters from being KO'd just means I can freely swing with my Land of Water characters and won't let them get KO'd by like an effect or something. So that's pretty nice. We're gonna swing 7k at lead here. Just gonna go ahead and poke. Always swinging the 7s, and sometimes upgrading those to 9s when we need them to. But for now, just a 7k swing. Opponent's just gonna go ahead and block with the Brulee. That does give me a little bit of suspicion as to how their hand's developing throughout this game. We're gonna play out 5-drop Luffy, another all-star in this deck. Luffy, as we know, the ability to attach Dawn to leader or another character for just attacking, incredibly good. We're gonna attach one to lead off of effect. We're gonna swing 6k at life here. He's gonna go ahead and take that one. I am a little afraid of a nasty trick coming off the top here. It looks like that just goes straight to hand. And now we're gonna swing 6k. It's gonna turn into a 7k because I've got a Lanawano card on the field that has a 5 cost or more. Nice little 7k. He's gonna make me a 6k leader for the whole turn cycle yet again. We're just gonna be pretty good against some of these, like the Basil Hawkins. He's gonna have to immediately commit a Dawn to it just to be able to swing at me, and then all those 1ks in my hand, perfectly fine to get out of any 6k swings. So we'll see what Arlong ends up doing here. Honestly, I have no idea what to expect. For this next turn, I'm definitely looking for like a Yamato, the new Rush Yamato from EB02. Fantastic, include 4 of in the deck. This deck, I think that card kind of gave this deck a little bit more legs. Oden's always been like niche, but I think with the addition of the 6-cost Yamato, definitely, and Mulgun and this sleeping Luffy, this 5k rushing 5-cost rush Luffy, definitely gave this deck some legs. It definitely struggles in some of the same pitfalls that it did before. It's terrible against removal based decks, but other than that, it's pretty decent. Also run some Hody Jones, which helped me out in the green purple Luffy matchup, right? Being able to tap down their Dawn, tap down their blockers, to potentially go for lethal to prevent them from being able to use Gum Gum is incredibly strong. But 8 Dawn on the other side of the table. Essentially, I have again no idea what to expect. They went ahead and already separated 5 and 3. Could mean that we could have maybe a removal spell, some kind of decently sized mid-range character to put into play, but we'll see what ends up happening here. I think they're going to just go and swing 6k. 6k into the Luffy. I'm going to 100% counter out of that. We're going to use this non-counter Denjiro, using my leader's effect to give it a 1k counter to just save the Luffy. Alright, opponent's going to probably activate. I guess that 3 set aside was for leader ability here. Going to swing 7k into Luffy yet again. Gives me a little bit of confidence potentially going into this next turn. If they're focusing my board here instead of my life, definitely means that they're likely running low on counter. And that Sanji blocker here is like a hope. So this is a 7k going into Luffy. I don't really have... I think I have, a 1k in hand. And I'm also thinking for... I think right now I'm thinking for Izo ability. So I haven't used Izo's effect yet. Izo, whenever your opponent attacks, you can trash a card from your hand and give something minus 2k power for the turn. I think we're going to do that here. So yeah, we're using the Izo effect, just waiting, and we're going to turn that Ryuma into a 2k counter here, giving minus 2k to the leader. So that sets the leader down to a 5k leader. Turns out that this Izo is actually pretty strong against decks that typically restand their characters or leaders, because that negative 2000 power is for the entire turn. So there are some decks, especially East Blue, that run some restand cards, and I think there's a specific card in the Arlong deck called like Django that untaps your leader for 5. And funny enough, I think when I explained Izo gives them minus 2000 power, my opponent goes, "Oh, because they had the 5 set aside. I'm pretty sure they were going to try to play a Django this turn and swing 7k again into the Luffy again. So that worked out pretty well for me, because now it's a 5k Luffy. It's not going to be able to contest my board or my leader here. So even if they untap, very unfortunate for them. So I think now they're kind of looking for a potential plan B in the hand here. And I'm feeling pretty good right now. These cards are going to go sideways. The Mulgun in hand is perfectly targeted for that Sanji right now. I also have an Ezo in hand. I think it's a 2k Ezo. If I haven't used it yet, to rest a 4 cost or less on play. So definitely got a whole lot of ways to get around blockers. Like I said, we run Hody Jones, things like that, just to kind of, you know, full on foot to the gas here. Just try to go as fast as possible, because we can't really survive if people start starving us. If people start just going into our board, we have to be as proactive and as aggressive as possible. Instead, opponent's going to just play a Charlotte Cracker, going to attach one to Hawkins, swing 6k. I don't know where the 6k is going. Potentially going to lead, potentially going into one of my characters. I assume it's going to go into Luffy yet again. That's why I'm kind of thumbing through here. I have the 2k. I think I'm deciding, what am I doing next turn? Am I mulliganing or am I 2k'ing? We're just going to cash in the blocker here. Leave our options open for potential trigger shenanigans on my opponent's side of the board here. And we're going to go back to us. Again, Ezo, don't really need to stash Dawn on it. 7k into 2 cards is good enough in most regards. Let's make sure we grab some Dawn here in just a second, as we should be on 9 Dawn here. I think we'll notice in just a second. There we go. All right. It's always good. I always recommend I always draw first instead of setting up my Dawn, because it's easier to know if you're missing Dawn than if you've drawn a card sometimes, if you haven't been keeping track of your hand size. But we've got two ways to clear this blocker pretty easily. I think we're gonna go for the lower Dawn play and rest out the Sanji with the Ezo here, leaving a bit of Dawn left. We're gonna go 9k into lead here. Punch is gonna take that one, snap take that one here. No trigger off the side, so now we're just gonna swing. I think we're gonna go. I think the plan is just to go 7k, 9k, right? Or 7k, 10k is probably the play, because Luffy can also just attach a rested Dawn himself. So 7k here gets 2 cards out of hand, and then we're gonna go 9k, make it a 10k, and opponent shows me 1k and a 10 drop ace and the Django. So Django was in hand. That Ezo, unfortunately, squashing that plan of his. But anyways, if you enjoy this type of content, definitely subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.